Hello, my name is Brother Marcus Morris. My
This is
video
a
thing is kind of
demonstration
doing
of
a weird echo.
Wirecast.
I'm not really sure why, and I can't really seem to get rid of it. So it's just gonna be there for now, unless somebody tells me how. But I'm gonna share a little bit about my life with each and every one of you, and it's about suicidal depression and the stuff that was in my life that I felt like I needed to get rid of. That was felt like was just holding me down and just not letting live
This is a
my
demonstration of
life like I'm
Wirecast.
supposed to, just live it like that, like Satan wanted me to. Back in 2010, February 5th, my best friend Britton passed away. He was um, he was the closest person to me. He was closer than anybody else in my family. I could relate to him more about anything than anybody else in my family. Um, it hit me like a truck. I didn't know how to deal with it. I was angry. I was sad. I was upset.
This is a demonstration
Just
of
all these things,
Wirecast.
and I didn't really understand what I should have been or understood what should have happened or why it happened, but it happened, and I mean, there's nothing I can do about it now. But I tried to take my life three different or five different occasions. Three occasions were by suicide, and the first time I ever tried to commit suicide, I was hanging there by a cord. I
This is a
strung it over the door,
demonstration of
and I didn't really
Wirecast.
want to live anymore. I just kind of decided that was going to be it. That was going to be the end of my life. And as I lay hanging there, all I remember is everything going black and just nothing, just black. And that was it. And next thing you know, I hear a real loud pop, and I'm sitting on the floor, and this cord is snapped for no reason, and it was probably the loudest pop I've ever heard. And I was angry
This
that I
is a
wasn't dead. I
demonstration
was
of
I was angry that I was
Wirecast.
still living this life of pain, suffering, and I didn't really know what quite to do anymore. And the next year, my second closest friend, Brianna, she died in a car wreck, and it also hit me devastatingly. She was only 16 at the time, and I just felt like my life was spiraling out of control, and there was going to be no end to this chaos because I felt so alone in my life, and I didn't really know what to do.
This
And
is a
I tried to take my
demonstration
own
of
life again while
Wirecast.
hanging, and my sister my sister came in, and she ended up cutting me down off the rope, and I can't really imagine how it felt for her to see me like that, or to what it was like for her to go through that. But I didn't really care at that point in my life. I cared more about what I wanted than what everybody else wanted for me. I cared about self more than I did trying to realize what that
This is a
impact would do to
demonstration
others.
of Wirecast.
And the third time I tried to hang myself, I was at a party. I was drinking heavily, all these things that were going on that shouldn't have been happening in my life, but I was just stuck. And I don't even really remember hanging myself. I just remember that I pretty much woke up, and there was all these people around me. They said I hung myself in the closet, and I don't really quite remember how it happened, but I guess my life was I
This is
thought
a
it was so bad
demonstration of
at
Wirecast.
that point in time that I just had to do whatever I could. And the fourth time I tried to kill myself, I took a handful of pills, and I woke up 3 days later in a hospital in Cincinnati on suicide watch. Not really quite sure where I was, just woke up trying to figure out what was going on. Who was this person looking at me? And my mom, I guess, is the one who found
This
me.
is a
And
demonstration of Wirecast.
I can't really imagine what she went through for that. I guess it was probably a very not so good sight for her, being the one who gave me life, and all this and that. And I guess I put all these people through all this pain and didn't realize what I was doing to them because I wanted to kill myself. I didn't really care what other people thought. I didn't really care how other people felt at that time in my life. And the fifth time I tried to kill myself.
This is a
Well,
demonstration of
at the time I was
Wirecast.
engaged to this woman. We've been together for 3 years, and she ended up cheating on me with my next door neighbor and getting pregnant by him. And it just, like, I felt like that was, I mean, I felt like life was getting a little better, and then it just kind of hit me in the face again. And so I cut my arm pretty good. I mean, I have 5 or 6 scars on it that I don't know if my camera would be good enough to pick up, so I'm not really going to show you. But
This
after
is a
that,
demonstration of
um,
Wirecast.
I had a chance to move from Ohio down to Kentucky, and I figured that would help a little bit with my life and help me clean up a little bit. So I moved 3.5 hours away. I left all the people behind me. I felt like that was gonna end my struggles. I felt like I was gonna move down here and it would all be perfect. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. And
This is a
I started
demonstration
drinking
of
a lot more when I
Wirecast.
moved down here. Probably every day. If I didn't have alcohol, I was gonna go get some. And I would drink before work. I would drink at work, and I would drink after work. It didn't really bother me. And I'm only 23 right now, but this was 2, 3 years ago. All this was going on, where I was drinking heavily, and my mom was getting more worried about me than she was when I wanted to end
This
my
is
own
a
life.
demonstration of
And
Wirecast.
I just felt like all this just build up anger in me and resentment because everybody that I ever cared about or loved that I was close to just kept dying or leaving me. And I didn't realize the number one person who loved me on this side is my mom. And she's been there since the beginning. My dad's never been in the picture. And I didn't realize what I was doing to her. And
This
then
is a
two
demonstration
years
of
ago in
Wirecast.
July, I was watching the Kentucky uh, Christian channel, and I just felt like I was having a panic attack and an anxiety attack, or this was going on. I didn't really know what was going on, and it was Jesus, I guess, the Lord trying to set me free from where I was at, and this bondage that I was stuck in, this depression, and the suicidal thoughts that I kept having to to want to end my life again.
This
To
is a
even though
demonstration
I've
of
been delivered from
Wirecast.
suicide, you know, death 5 times already, I didn't see the point in living still. I wanted to die still. And at that point in my life, I felt like I was going to do it again. I felt like I wasn't ever going to quit doing anything. I felt like I was causing more harm to my mom than anything. And I gave my life to the Lord on a Tuesday evening after work. Um,
This is a
I
demonstration of
just felt
Wirecast.
relieved. I felt this depression and suicide just, it just felt like it went away. I felt like I didn't need it anymore, and I felt not led to drink anymore. I didn't want these things in my life anymore. And it's been 2 years now, or no, it's been a year and probably 3, 4 months now, and I haven't wanted to drink. I haven't wanted to take my own
This
life.
is a
I haven't wanted to
demonstration
do
of Wirecast.
any of the old things that I used to do, and my depression, it feels like it's faded. It feels like it's not, you know, it feels like it stopped and it's not coming back. It's like I might have struggles with money. I don't have a good job. I don't, make the most money. I don't have a fancy house or fancy car. It doesn't bother me. Those things used to bother me. I used to be all sorts of mad because I didn't have these nice
This
things,
is
or
a
I didn't have what that
demonstration of
person had. I didn't
Wirecast.
get to do the things they wanted to do, or they did anyways, and I just felt stuck and angry about that too. And it, at the end of the day, it was me being more mad at myself, or mad at an image I thought God would be. Because I never claimed to be religious. I never claimed to have a religious bone in my body, not even believing in God or any kind of supernatural power. I just thought it was that's how we were, and that's how it's
Is a
always gonna be, and
demonstration of
there's gonna be nothing
Wirecast.
more and nothing less for us to do. And I felt like I would be stuck at all times in that suicidal depression life and not wanting to get out of it, not being able to move, and just I felt like death and despair was the only thing that was meant for me, the only thing I would have. But it turns out there's so much more. There's so much more to live for. There's so much more to life. There's so much more encouragement in
This
the world
is a
than you
demonstration
see
of
when you're
Wirecast.
on your own. But when I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior, I left pretty much everything there. I didn't want to pick it back up. I didn't have the desire to pick it back up. Why would I want something that made me feel that way for so long back in my life when it didn't do anything good for me? It didn't move me forward. It just kept me in that little hole that I felt like I was stuck in. I felt like I was never able to get out of the hole. I felt like I was never good enough for anything. I never felt like I was good enough
This is a
for
demonstration of
love. I didn't
Wirecast.
feel like I deserved anything because it all kept getting taken away. I felt like this was it. And that's all it was. And so I got tired of the devil beating me up. I guess, and I guess it was the first time I ever felt the Lord knock on my heart and tell me to let Him in. And like I said, I didn't really know how to explain it. I didn't really know how to explain the experience. But it's like by the time it was over and done with,
This is a
I felt
demonstration
it
of
change my life.
Wirecast.
I was in tears. It was an emotional Tuesday evening for me. I mean, I didn't really know where to go next. I didn't know what to do next. So I started going around to different churches. I started trying to find different people to socialize with and a different group than I was hanging out with at the time. If I'd still been hanging out with the same group, I guess I'd still be in the same situation that I'm in, or I was in. But when I came to the Lord, He put new people in my life. He
This
set
is a
these people that have
demonstration of Wirecast.
confidence in you. They have faith in you, and they pray for you, and they wish for you to succeed. They wish for you to be happy and fruitful in this life. They wish for you to nothing but the best for you in your life. For they know you're going to go through trials. They know that you're going to be tempted by Satan. They know these old things that you used to do. He's going to try to throw back up and make it seem like this is what you are. You've never changed. You've never had a full changing. But I know what
This
I've
is
had,
a
and there's
demonstration
many
of
people around that
Wirecast.
have had that change. And when you first come to that, Satan wants to attack that faster than when you, because he feels like if he can stop you when you first start, you won't start back up again. Because he feels like you've gotten happy, you've gotten out of your pit of despair, and he doesn't like that. He wants you to stay in it. He wants you to go where he's going for an eternity. For the Bible speaks on where Satan's going, and it's hell. There's no chance of hope for him. That's where he's destined. But Jesus went to the cross for each and every one of us
This
that we
is
may
a
have an eternity
demonstration of
in heaven
Wirecast.
to live with him, the Father. That way, no matter what we're going through, we can see that, and that's our hope. Because the Bible says, "Hope that is seen is not true hope." But we don't have hope on this earth. Our hope is in eternity. We can't see Him every day. We've never come face to face with our Lord and Savior. We've never seen God. We've never been able to touch Him. But that's where our hope lies. Up. Our hope lies in heaven. And Jesus said He goes to prepare a place for us, and He wouldn't say it if it wasn't so.
This
And
is a
there's no lying
demonstration of
in our God. There's
Wirecast.
no lying in the God that I serve. There's no waver. There's no respect of persons. There's no favoritism in who you are or what you do. He doesn't care if you've been in this 5 minutes, 5 years, or 5 months. We're all equal. We're all same. We were all deserving of a place called hell. We've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. But Jesus saw fit to go to the cross for each and every one of us. He saw fit to stay on the cross. He could have left the
This
cross at
is
any
a
given time. There,
demonstration of
that could not have held
Wirecast.
him. He could have called a legion of angels, and they would have came and secured him. They would have took him down off that cross, and our hope would have went with him. It would have went away. But he saw fit to do it for each and every one of us because he loved us. I say no greater. I can't remember the word I'm looking for, but he's no greater. I think love than to lay one's life down for a friend. But we were sinners at the time. We weren't Jesus's friend. We weren't. on the
This
same
is a
side he was.
demonstration of
We were the enemy at
Wirecast.
the time, and he laid down his life for us. So how great and how merciful and nice is our Lord there? How does that show his love for us, that we weren't even on his side at the time he gave his life, but he did it so we could have hope. He did it so we could have that peace of a sound mind. We could have that love in our hearts, for we can feel that true love, but it comes from him first. We can't truly love ourselves, and we can't truly experience love until we
This is a
come to him. We
demonstration of
can't
Wirecast.
get out of the depression and the suicidal tendencies that are in our lives. We can't be delivered from these things. It feels like depression and suicide is escalating quickly, and I've had, I don't know, it seems like countless friends that kill themselves every year. It just seems like it keeps growing. There's more and more each time, and it's like Satan keeps winning, and he keeps kicking my friends over. And my testimony is being delivered from depression and
This
suicide.
is a
That way,
demonstration
God
of
picked me so I could
Wirecast.
help others. He picked me so I could help people with this tendency or this depression in their lives, that they feel like they're getting beat up and they can't go anywhere, to help them see that there is a way out. There is a light. There's not just depression, and everything isn't permanent on this earth. But I'm not able to go out and, you know, witness to everybody. I'm not able to go out and tell them about how I was stuck in that suicidal
This is a
depression. I was stuck in
demonstration
that
of Wirecast.
black hole. I felt like it was just telling me to end it all. I felt like I couldn't go any further. I couldn't do anything. I was just stuck. And my way out was to die. But once you die, there's nothing more you can do. If you commit suicide, the Bible speaks on where you're going, and I hate for that, because all my friends that have committed suicide, I hate that. But I don't hate God.
This
I
is a
love Him, and
demonstration of
I can't
Wirecast.
hate somebody and love Him at the same time. I can't pretend to love Him and love Satan at the same time. It says we can't serve two masters in the Bible, and I don't try. But we're all in the flesh. We're all weak to sin. I'm a young minister. I've been preaching for 7 months now, and the devil attacks me just like he will attack anybody else. And we're in the flesh. We're all weak in the flesh. We all sometimes give in to things we shouldn't do. We shouldn't,
This is a demonstration
you
of
know, whether it's
Wirecast.
just, you know, the Bible speaks of thou shalt not sleep with another man's wife, or sleep with many wives. It's just one wife is what we're supposed to be, one man and one woman. And they will leave their mother and their father and be one flesh. And that's a very sacred thing. It's the only part in the Bible where it speaks of a relationship like that, where they will become one, where they will be conjoined together, where they'll be one flesh.
This
There's no
is a
other
demonstration of
scripture in the Bible
Wirecast.
that speaks of marriage or that kind of commitment that is there. And whether people, all we see lately is divorce or unhappy relationships, or people just getting with people so they're not alone. For their depression is being alone, and they feel like they can't go alone anymore, so they just jump on to the first saddle they see. And that's not always what we're meant to do. We're not always meant to just jump around some more. But too many
This is
people
a demonstration
just
of
don't like being alone.
Wirecast.
And if you can't be alone, and you can't get yourself to where you need to be with the Lord, and you can't control yourself, then how are you going to be happy in a relationship if you can't be happy with yourself? If you're not happy, then you need to pray a little more. If you feel like the person you're with is not the person you're meant to be with, but you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings by breaking it off, then,
This is a
I mean,
demonstration
you'll
of
need to pray on it and
Wirecast.
just, I mean, the Lord delivers. He always makes a way out. He will always make the best out of a situation, even though you may not see it. You may only see your side of it, but the Lord sees every aspect of every situation in life. And sometimes we think what we're going through is too small for Him, or we're not good enough for Him to hear us and do anything about it. But if it matters to you, it matters to Him. He's never too busy. He is never
This is
occupied.
a
He is never
demonstration of Wirecast.
distracted. He is never too busy for you. He will always be there. And he can deliver you from your depression. He can deliver you from your suicide. He's done it for me. And like I said, I have the scars on my arms. I've had the noose around my neck 3 different times. I've had my stomach. I assumed it was pumped since I took a handful of pills. I assumed that it was, but I'm not sure. Whatever. Like I said, I don't remember. I just woke up 3 days later. But God was there for me
This is a demonstration of
when I was
Wirecast.
in sin so bad that I couldn't see daylight. But He came in and He was the light. For we're just the candlestick, and it speaks of that in the Bible as well. For I can go on all day about the Bible. I can go on all day about, I guess you could say, all the things that He's done for me, and it still wouldn't be enough. I could just explain my life in detail about all the things that were holding me down, all the depression that had me stuck,
This is a demonstration
and I
of
don't feel like it would do Him
Wirecast.
justice. The only way that I feel like I can do what He wants me to do, if that makes sense, is to keep going forward, to not slack off, to not grow weary, to not just grow stale. And too many people are being affected by depression. Too many kids are ending their life. I don't really know the statistics right now, but
This is a
it seems like you hear
demonstration
about
of
it more and more every
Wirecast.
day, and it's very sad, and it's very heartbreaking, and to see these kids getting younger and younger, wanting to end their life because that's all they've ever seen. The news only shows the bad. It never wants to show the good. It never wants to show the uplifting when all these kids have ever just seen death, destruction, and mayhem. Because the news knows that's what's going to sell more. They know that's what's going to give them their money. They know it's going to get them a few extra views.
This
It's
is a
going to sell a few
demonstration
more
of
newspapers.
Wirecast.
They're more worried about the money in the bank account than the people in the streets. They're more worried about themselves than the homeless in their backyard. They're more worried about sending money to a corporation that claims to do stuff overseas with people over there than going outside and getting involved with the people in their backyard. They want to be exalted for sending money so they can be kind of involved, but completely uninvolved at the
This is a
same time, being
demonstration
emotionally
of
attached from the
Wirecast.
situation. That way, if anything goes wrong, they're like, well, I just gave this amount of money, so it'll be right. No, no, no. You need to get out, quit talking about your precious time. Okay, I'm getting on a whole different subject. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But these people, they don't care to see the way out of depression. Doctors claim medication will help. All these different things will get you out of your depression. Zoloft, or I can't remember the other
This is a
medications they've had, but they've
demonstration
given
of
me, I think, 3 or 4
Wirecast.
different medications. I was given Seroquel to sleep. I don't know if you've ever been given Seroquel, but that turns you into a completely different person. Zoloft is supposed to treat depression, but can give you suicidal thoughts and dreams. Seroquel is the same way. It can give you nightmares beyond belief. It's just the medication that's supposed to help you could make it worse. Where is the hope in that? There is no hope in a medication that could or could not help. There's no
This
help
is a
in a
demonstration of
medication
Wirecast.
if it can make it worse. And all these medications I've taken, none of them have ever made a difference. None of them have ever truly helped. Nothing helped until I came to know Jesus. Nothing came until I was watching the Christian Network one day and he knocked on my door. And you can tell when it's conviction. You can tell when it's from the Lord because you can't really explain it. You don't really know what is
This
going
is a
on in your life. You don't
demonstration of
really
Wirecast.
know what to do. You can't really explain it. But once you do what He wants you to do and you accept Him as your Lord and Savior, it's an amazing feeling. You can tell that the struggle's over. You can tell that there's there's peace, there's hope, and there's love there. You can tell that He has truly delivered you. You can tell that the Bible is real. You can tell it speaks
This
volume.
is a
It's
demonstration
not
of
just some book written
Wirecast.
by some people 2,000 years ago. It's not just a book printed wherever the Bible you get maybe printed. Um, it's so much more. It's a living word. It acknowledges all that He does. He's just in power and truth and firmness. And God will deliver you if you have depression or suicidal thoughts, or you feel like nothing is getting you anywhere. If you feel like it's just getting worse, you need to
This is a demonstration
call
of
out. You need to
Wirecast.
talk to someone. You need to just move out of where you're at. Or you feel like you just can't do anything. You need to look somewhere else, or you need some advice from somebody else. I just plead with you today not to end your life, not to give in to that suicidal temptation, not to just try to end it all right here and there, not to live without experiencing God. Even if you have and
This is
you've
a
wandered away and you
demonstration of
feel like
Wirecast.
this depression has clouded your judgment, or you feel like it's just got you where you're at and you've walked away from the Lord, that could be why it's there. It could be there because you left the Lord. I'm not saying when you come to Jesus everything's gonna be white and rainbows. I mean, we go through trials. It says it rains on the just and the unjust. The only difference is how you handle it. If you look to the hope that's eternal, then you'll handle it with a smile on your face. But if you're looking to
This
the
is a
fleshly side of this,
demonstration
if you're
of
just looking to your
Wirecast.
neighbor, then you may not have that outlook of hope or peace in your heart. You may not be able to smile when you're going through something. But I plead with you tonight that just don't end your life. Just keep going forward. Just reach out to someone. Reach out to and talk to someone. I'm not saying it be, you know, there's a suicide helpline. I'm not really sure what that does. I'm not. I assume people
This
talk
is
to
a
you, but
demonstration of
if you need anybody
Wirecast.
to talk to, my email address is preachermanmorris@yahoo.com. Or if I'm not really sure how YouTube works, you can comment on here and I'll reach out to you. I will talk to you. It doesn't bother me to give up my time. It's not really for me if I'm helping others. It's to add to what God wants me to do, and maybe I'll be able to help somebody get through their depression, see the light, or maybe I'll be able to,
This is a demonstration
show
of
someone there is hope.
Wirecast.
And if even if it is just one person, that'll make a difference. That'll be better than I could do without this. And I just thank you for watching, and just don't give up yet. Just keep pressing forward and keep going on. God bless you, and you are loved. I don't know you. I don't know what you're going through, but I love you, and I will pray for you.
This is a
You
demonstration
have a
of
good night. And if you ever
Wirecast.
need anything, don't be afraid to reach out.